Welcome to the Two Bucks Rock Show. On the Jazzonator, I'm going to take you through a little journey to meet some of our friends. You're about to experience some of the UK's best unsigned rock and metal. Don't be alarmed, this is what we do. So sit back, chill out, and just enjoy yourself. We are Two Bucks. Welcome back to the all-new, revamped, forcibly I might add, Two Bucks Rock Show. Having said that, I always like a new introduction. Every now and then, it doesn't hurt to freshen things up, and that's a blinder. That comes courtesy of Eroding Empires, Master Charger's second album. I'll play the full track later on in the show. But first, and very, very importantly, news of the Halloween gig. We've only managed to shoehorn in a touring band from Belgium called Reject the Sickness, haven't we? And you guys are going to absolutely love them. If you've already shown an interest in the Halloween gig, you'll have seen the video from My Agony that's on our Facebook page. Very, very fitting for Halloween, I have to say. I reckon we'll be seeing a lot more of these guys on the circuit, especially on the show. So let me tell you a little bit about them. As I said, they're from Belgium. They're called Reject the Sickness. And you have Guy on vocals, you have Pepjin and Ruben on guitars, Floris on bass, and Yannick on drums. What's really interesting, well from my point of view anyway, is in their band interests it states that Yannick is actually a social worker, and the sort of things that he has to go through on a weekly basis has inspired him to write his own fiction about outcast youth, how they get back at society and the molesters. And I dare say there's a lot of that in the music, to be honest. It's very, very honest, it's very gritty, it's very brutal. Yeah, it's strangely melodic. So to demonstrate that, I've taken a completely different track from their album Chains of Solitude. And that gives you two instantly accessible songs that you can hear. The My Agony video, which is on the Facebook page, and now this. It's called The Fire's Burning. It is absolutely stonking. Oh, tell me you're not looking forward to that now. Oh, hang on, it's not finished. Hold on. There you go, now it's finished. That's what I want for Christmas. I want myself a copy of that album. And you can't tell me that you don't need that in your record collection. Because I'll just tell you how wrong you are. So you'll be able to hear these guys in full swing at the end of the month on the 29th. We're going to be throwing them into the mix at about the middle. It's going to be interesting for myself and young Alex. This is going to be our first ever attempt at a full band mix. We've bought some new equipment. We're using a mixture of the old stuff and the new stuff. And we're going to try, along with some little bits of jiggery pokery, to do a full band setup, as it were. We've not tested this yet, so it could go horribly wrong. I'm pretty confident. We've sent the boy off to college to learn how to do this. Saves me messing about and pulling my hair out. So we'll see how it goes. Fingers crossed, eh? Now, if you listen to this week's Heads Up show, you probably realised why I like actually going out and doing the sound for these bands. And the reason for that is that I have to behave myself a little bit. If you did listen to the Heads Up show, you might have been able to detect the odd wince here and there as the pain behind my eyes became too much. And what was all that about, you ask? Well, it was my first hangover in a huge amount of time. I'd like to say I'm not proud of myself, but I would be lying through my teeth. I absolutely loved it, right up until I can't remember. And that, my friend, is what happens when her indoors gives you some extra beer tokens, says, go ahead and enjoy yourself. I went from mild-mannered Jasper to raging Jazzinator in very, very short space of time. Whoa, it must have been awesome to see. We'll have to ask some of the guys in the bands that I went to see. So, if anybody's got any comments on the night, if anybody was there, any of the band members, please try and only remember the good parts when I was fairly lucid. So, who did I go to see? Well, Broken Jaw were headlining. Couldn't really turn that down, could I? And the Black Hounds. Ah, yes, the Black Hounds were opening, so I couldn't miss that either. But the two other support bands, oh my god, what a fantastic night. So, I've stolen all of them for the show. So let me play you a track from the Black Hounds. I will introduce the two middle bands, then we'll have a little bit of Broken Jaw. See if it brings back any memories. This is the title track from the Black Hounds EP Gallows to start the ball rolling. Take it away, guys. It was great to meet you all. That's the Black Hounds. That's a title track from their EP Gallows. They finished their set with that. It was fantastic, has to be said. Next to take the stage were a band straight over from Dublin. They're called Aesect. That's A-E-S-E-C-T. And they are David Kennedy, Aidan O'Halloran, Luke Peters, Mark Lennon and Aidan Williams. They were by far the heaviest band on of the night. I know you're going to love them. They were absolutely amazing on stage. Their first EP with their original lineup was called Buried in the Undergrowth. That went straight to free download. And if you ask the guys nicely, they might still have a few tracks from that knocking about. But their new EP, the one that I've taken today's track from, is called Devour the Earth. There's a link to that on their Facebook page. You really, really need this as well. Why do you need it, I hear you ask? Well, this is why. This track is called Cognitive Dissonance. And if this doesn't ring your bell, you might be listening to the wrong show. So that was the first of the two bands that I hadn't seen before. All the way over from Dublin, they're called Aesect. That is called Cognitive Dissonance. It's from their brand new EP, Devour the Earth, which you can find on their Facebook page, which I sincerely urge you to do. And don't forget, all the good things, telling them that Jasper sent you along. Cheeky little like, share them around your friends. After that, things started to turn a little more punky. And again, another band that I hadn't seen before, but I'm very glad to have seen now. They've just been announced for the acoustic stage in next year's Breaking Bands Festival. They're called the Senton Bombs, and I know some of you already know of them. But for those of you who don't, they are Joey Class on vocals and bass, Damien Cage, guitars and backing vocals, Johnny Gibbons, guitar and backing vocals, and Scott Mason on drums. They'd come all the way down from Blackpool, so that would have been a nice change for them, swapping drunk holiday makers for drunk students. Then they too came with the intention of taking no prisoners. The new album is called Mass Vendetta, and the track that I'm going to play is taken from that album, but it's also on a little trilogy called the Devil Trilogy, which has taken 3 tracks from 3 different albums over the last 3 years, all with an unholy connection. If you want to find out what the other tracks are and what they're about, find the link to the Devil Trilogy on their Facebook page. While you're over there liking it, sharing it around your friends, you know, telling them Jasnator sent you and all that stuff. And while you do that, I'm going to play the track. It's called Wedlock Horns. Here you go.
Too late when I seal my fate, when I made those bridesmaids bleed.
So there you go. They were the two new to me bands anyway. And the bands that had travelled the furthest from home, to be honest. Came along, made Cheltenham their bitch. All to support our little diamond in the rough Nutsy. I'm pretty sure all of us know Nutsy. He is larger than life. The man who defies description, fortunately. Broken Jaw took the stage. The crowd went mental. Nothing new there then. And Nutsy has sent me the music back, so we can play some Broken Jaw on the show again. Deep joy. This is their opening song. It's called Quick Feed.
I'm pleased and proud.
When I figured it out, and I figured it out pretty quickly, I wanted to break your jaw.
This pig and his cop friends broke my ribs, my leg, and my jaw.
I broke his jaw!
Why did you do that?
Why?
Yeah, why?
I was having a bad day.
What?
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
Yes.
Goonies never say die.
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
We stopped off for ice cream. When the fuck did we get ice cream?
Nuns. No sense of humor.
This is it. Don't get scared.
You were not seen it, do not know what hell looks like from the top.
So that's how Broken Jaw started their set and rounded off the night. I remember talking to the guys for a little bit after the gig. I don't remember a huge amount, much more than that. Some stuff happened. I got home, drunk and text to the bands, etc., to say how much I'd enjoyed myself and how drunk I was. Sorry about that, guys. But hopefully the addition to my radio shows has made up for all that. Let's make sure the rest of the world hears about you as well. Now, I was joined at the Two Pigs by some more rock royalty. Fresh from a gig of his own, Josh Matthews arrived for a little bit of a chill out, a drinky poo, and some music that he hadn't had to provide himself. Always a pleasure to catch you on and off duty, my good man. Let me play a little bit of a track from We Come From Ashes, just to say thanks for turning up at a gig that I was at and showing some support for some other bands. This is from Embers. It's called Out of Time.
You're next in line, get up.
Fantastic stuff. That's We Come From Ashes at a time from their EP Embers. Do us a second favour, would you? Pop across to their Facebook page. Check out Ashes Fest 3. That's going to be an absolute blinder. Taking place at the Lower George, and I already checked the date and I'm not working. Although my rotators tend to change every 2 weeks, so we get a new one. I am definitely going to be at this, even if I have to go AWOL. Right, who else has sent music back for me? Let's have a quick look. Oh, Sonnitus. Sonnitus have sent some of their old stuff and their new single. So let's do some of that. The new single is called Dirty Thing.
This loneliness is hard to explain. If it goes on any longer, I'll go insane. Right through my mind, time and again. But it's time every time, what do I have to pretend? These words get lost inside my head. So much is said in what you do and not what you said. Now it disappear to make you feel lost. If I had to make you listen, what would it cost? Take a breath, can't breathe, and that's what I'll never get. Gotta breathe it in. Take a breath, can't breathe, and that's what I'll never get. Sometimes it's tough and nothing enough. When it pushes back up on me, it's gonna get rough. When the red light's on, you gotta stay there. Come inside every night, it's tight when we're there.
So that's the latest absolutely fantastic offering indeed from Sonnitus. It's called Dirty Thing. I really like that. Can't wait to see them play live again fairly soon, I hope. Someone else that got straight back to me after my hard drive failure was Dens from Hung Like Jack. Sent me their single. So it's only fair that I play that really in return, isn't it? And I know you guys aren't going to complain. We all love a bit of Hung Like Jack. It's called She's Not Dead. Hung like Jack, she's not dead. Awesome stuff. Once again, I'd just like to thank Vinny and all the bands that have sent stuff back. I couldn't do this without your generosity. You've made a happy man very old. Right, it's almost time to bring this to a close. I'm not going to do a guest band this week. I've already introduced 2 new bands. So to take us up to the final song, this is Skreamer from King of Crows. This is My Darkness. That's Skreamer taking us up to the going away dance. And as promised, I'm going to play us out the same way I played us in. My new opening track from Master Charger, from Eroding Empires. This is Damn Me Forever.
Carry on, everybody. You've all done very well.